What would you say are some of the biggest barriers that your customers face when they're contemplating technology or even just data sets? What does that actually look like practically in the home when you start talking about scoring of a potential type of in-home water risk? So with that, tell me what interesting things you guys are doing at Zesty.
Welcome to 5 Minutes, your fast track to smarter insurance technology and stronger leadership. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to show you a better way to lead, scale, and innovate without the chaos. Let's get into it.
Robert Silva, thank you so much for joining me here. Another episode of 5 Minutes here at our Hartford Symposium 2025. How's your day going so far at the conference?
It's going great. Very interesting conference. I've met a lot of really great, interesting people and participated in a panel earlier today. So
awesome.
Yeah. It's a great time here.
Yeah, good conversations, great opportunity to reconnect and see what new is going on out there. I ask a question to all of my guests because there's usually a fascinating story behind how they got into insurance. So I'll ask you that question. Like, what prompted you to come into this industry?
Well, I like acting a lot, and in the Bureau of Labor Statistics Handbook, the word actuary immediately follows the word actor. And I thought I could make a lot more money being an actuary than an actor, probably. So that's the way I went. The story's kind of like that.
Right.
A friend of mine became an actuary at one point and said, "This is a really cool job. I think you might like it." And I looked into it, and I did. So I started working at MetLife Auto and Home about 20 years ago from college fundraising. And I managed to convince them how college fundraising had a lot to do with actuarial work and pricing.
Right.
And they hired me. So
I've got to ask you a question that I hadn't contemplated before because this is kind of interesting. When I think of actuarial sciences, I think of perhaps a very rigid structure that's kind of somewhat binary. It's like it's a kind of very, kind of just empirical type of dynamic. And then you say that you have a passion for theater, which I classify as art. And then I'm thinking about the confluence of those two things. How does that show up in your work as an actuary?
I think being able to communicate very complicated ideas in a clear manner is really important for being an actuary. So I think that skill comes through a lot and has enabled me to succeed because I can look at data, I can look at models, and then I can turn them into a story that actually works with other non-actuarial audiences. Yeah,
that's fantastic. I love that. I love that, and I'm sure you've heard all the jokes about talking to actuaries. And
I know. Yeah. A lot of us are actually very, very interesting.
I love it. So with that, tell me what interesting things you guys are doing at Zesty.
Yeah, we're working on a non-weather water model right now. We call it Z-Water. We're known for working with aerial imagery in order to produce risk models that are very climate related. So we started with Z-Fire several years ago, and we've built out a hail model and a wind model. And then we also offer all the kind of background data that goes into those models. So this is our first foray into thinking about what goes on inside of a house. This is one of the most significant perils that insurers face. And we're really building models that work our way right down the whole peril stack. So if they're important or a mystery to our customers and other insurance carriers that are yet to be customers, that those are the models that we're building to try to give them solutions to those problems.
So when you talk about water inside the home, my head immediately goes to IoT. Am I in the right place, or is there a different dynamic that you're looking at?
That's a very important aspect of this. So you're thinking of like water sensors and deploying those in houses. It's not really a model driven by that. But what it does is it's a segmentation model that will give you 100 different segments that have increasing non-weather water loss risk. And one really interesting use of the model is to help carriers decide which policies should be required to deploy a water sensor in their house in order to deal with non-weather water losses. So if if the property scores very low,
Yeah.
it might be kind of a waste of money
Sure.
to put a water sensor in there. And insurance carriers are very sensitive to how much it costs to collect data, to mitigate
Absolutely.
risk.
Yeah.
All of these things are just as important as the cost of the losses themselves. So, yeah.
That segmentation is very fascinating to me, Robert. But can you illustrate an example? Like, what does that actually look like practically in the home when you start talking about scoring of a potential type of in-home water risk? What does it look like in practicality?
Yeah, so what we're looking at are a host of different variables. Some of them are climatological variables
Okay.
that have to do with the general climate of the area,
Right.
like temperature variability. We're also looking at hardness of the water. So coming up with ways to objectively assess
Right.
how much, like the mineral content of water that's being supplied to a house.
Yep.
We're looking at the different kinds of sources of water for houses. So some of them use locally sourced well water. Some are relying on municipal water services. And those water services, some of them are a lot better than others.
Right.
A lot more reliable than others. So we're collecting all of that data. We're also collecting data from permits. Permits that are out there. So we've built a large language model that scrapes through permitting data, and it's looking for indications that someone may have added a new bathroom or expanded their bathroom or whatnot. So that kind of publicly available data. And then we're also using aerial imagery to look at what we can see about the inside of a house from the outside. So maybe something like roof penetrations we can see that indicate the presence of bathrooms. Pools are actually an important consideration in this model. So anything that has water in it leads to non-weather water losses, which is interesting. So we're assessing all of those and putting them together in a gradient boost machine, and it produces 2 scores for every individual property. The first score is a frequency score. The second score is a severity score.
Okay.
So you have 100 combinations of scores. So 100 different segments that a particular property can fall into. We're able to provide, because we built this model with industry data, industry loss data that we collected from several different carriers across many different states and regions in the United States. So we're able to share what are the loss relativities that you see given a certain score. So companies are able to, you got a frequency, you got a severity, you multiply those together.
Sure.
You provide a coverage level on your end, and you can set rates with that. You
Right.
can make underwriting decisions with that. So it's a very useful model that we've been working on. Yeah.
Got it. So you talked about using large language models to scrape municipal data for permits, et cetera. What other ways is AI working its way into your product, internally or customer facing or otherwise?
I think traditionally the big way with us is in analyzing imagery. So we work with all the main imagery providers in the United States. So our models, an interesting aspect of them is they're designed to work with different image sources. So we don't rely on one single provider. So the AI comes into context when our models are looking at an image, looking at the pixels provided by an image. They're able to say, oh, that's a house, that's a tree, that's a driveway. And then we've built risk models on top of that with the insurance data to very affordably be able to assess all these different variables about the risk of whatever peril we're looking at, like non-weather water, and put that together into one story that actually shows the risk of the house. So not the LLM doing scraping of permit data, great use of AI, but it also involves having the machine learning capabilities to be able to look at an image and know what's there without immediate human intervention. Yeah.
Got it. has some of the kind of developments in the AI landscape over, let's call it, the past 2 years. Because backstory, AI has been around for a lot longer than people realize. It's just only really come into the public sphere recently because of ChatGPT. But given the development that has happened in the ecosystem, is that accelerating your product development? Are you seeing that rapid shift, just call it past 2 years, or you guys have been here already for a while?
Yeah, we've been working with AI tools for a very long time. I think within the company, using large language models that are available out there makes product development easier,
Right.
because we can analyze a whole lot more documentation that's
Yeah,
out there,
that's right.
about all of this stuff, and come to conclusions quicker. So it's definitely making us, in our work, we are an AI company, so
Yeah.
we very much encourage using tools, as appropriate, these kind of external tools, but it definitely helps organize our thoughts, and develop products better, I think. And there really is a lot in the future of being able to use AI tools to be able to analyze the massive amount of documents that are out there. If you think of all the company filings
Yeah,
that
sure.
are out there,
Yeah, yeah.
the millions and millions of pages of filings, which have a lot of great information in them. Very difficult to put all that information together into something that can be used. There's definitely a lot of opportunity
Right.
out there to be doing work like that.
Yeah, the data consumption power of AI is just
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. What would you say are some of the biggest barriers that your customers face when they're contemplating technology or even just data sets, the consumption of data that you guys provide? What do you see as some of the barriers at the carrier side?
I think some big ones are the first regulatory. Is this something that we're going to be allowed to use?
Yeah.
Is it something we're allowed to use now? Is it something we're confident that we'll be allowed to use in the future? But also there's just operational concerns. So is your data actually reliable? Is it something that we're going to be able to operationalize consistently across our company?
Yeah.
Because one of the main values that we bring is efficiency to this whole process.
Sure.
So you don't have to look at all of the pictures of the houses that you insure. We're kind of identifying the ones that maybe an underwriter wants to look at.
Right.
We're giving you all the scores in order to do the rates automatically. So that needs to be able to be done consistently across the whole organization. So one thing we definitely try to do is anticipate kind of issues that can arise with our customers to put them at ease that they're going to actually be able to use this product. So, for instance, the image might be wrong.
Okay.
In a sense. Like we might be looking at an image that's 3 months old, and our model says it has a metal roof, has an asphalt shingle roof, when in fact the insured maybe 1 month ago replaced the roof with a metal roof. Our customer has to be able to take that into account, if they can, confirm that the roof is actually metal. So we have processes in place in order to make adaptions like that with our models. So the carrier can say, this is a metal roof now, and we can actually produce an updated risk score that gives them accurate information that will ultimately be available when the image gets updated again. But so we're able to deal with these kind of flexibility issues that might arise with our customers. We can work with them ahead of time, planning that out and coming up with processes for dealing with all these different scenarios. We've worked with a lot of people for a while now. We know what happens. It's never quite as direct as you might hope it would be, but you can, if you have a good partner vendor, they'll be able to walk you through the different kinds of scenarios that are common and how you actually deal with them.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Let's close out with this question and kind of bring it all the way back to the beginning of the conversation, kind of the whole actuarial and creativity component, the artistic. What advice would you have for new actuaries coming into the scene? And we've got a talent crisis we've been waiting for, right? So as you think about attracting new actuaries and some of the skills that new actuaries need, how could you describe the mindset that you would promote so that you could apply this level of creativity at the actuarial level?
Be willing to constantly learn, and to try new things out. So, we have these actuarial exams. You're spending so much time learning all of that. But I would suggest any new actuaries to be very comfortable using AI tools, using those tools to help them program, using those tools to make them more efficient. I think these are important, like partnership tools for actuaries to learn. I'd also suggest learning how all of this actually impacts the insurance business.
Know your business.
As actuaries, we can get very stuck in the statistics of everything and what an indicated rate should be. What makes us really strong is that we can quantify if we make this particular decision, what are the ramifications of that?
Right.
How are our business results actually going to change? And I think those are the kind of things that make you a very powerful actuary.
That's awesome. Awesome advice. Thank you so much, Robert. I can't thank you enough for the time.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.